Good evening. It is 5:45, so I will call to order the June 4th, 2026 regular meeting of the Hendersonville City Council. We begin our meetings with a silent invocation for people to pray or meditate as they choose, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could stand, please. You'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We allow time for public comment. Nobody present has signed up for general public comment. Is anyone online seeking recognition to speak?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, and we had no digital general public comment, so that will go very quickly. All right, we have an agenda before us this evening. Does anyone have something they would like added to or removed from the agenda as presented? Or if not, a motion to approve.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the agenda as presented say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and motion carries. We have our agenda. Consent agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to have moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda so it can be discussed? Or if not, a motion to approve those items?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and we have approved everything on the consent agenda. Thank you. All right, we have a special presentation this evening. So I would like to ask Donnie Jones and come on. Yeah, both of you can come up. Come on. No, it doesn't. I want you to come up with me too. Appreciate you coming tonight. We have something that we'd like to read to you. This is whereas Donnie Jones of Hendersonville, North Carolina, has dedicated his life to serving others and enriching the lives of children and families throughout Henderson County in western North Carolina. And whereas, recognizing a need within the community, Donnie Jones founded Special Needs Sports in 2001 and later established the Special Needs Baseball League, creating opportunities for children and adults with disabilities to experience the joy, camaraderie, and life lessons that come through participation in organized sports. And whereas, through his vision, leadership, and tireless volunteer efforts, Special Needs Sports has grown to serve more than 200 participants across 7 counties in western North Carolina, providing a welcome environment where every player is valued, included, and celebrated. And whereas Donnie Jones has worked tirelessly to ensure that financial barriers never prevent participation, relying on community partnerships, volunteers, sponsors, and charitable support so that every athlete has the opportunity to play. And whereas his unwavering commitment to inclusion has extended beyond the playing field, helping to promote accessible recreation opportunities and advocating for facilities and programs that serve individuals of all abilities. And whereas, in recognition of his extraordinary contributions, Henderson County honored Donnie Jones by naming the Donnie Jones All-Inclusive Playground at Jackson Park, ensuring that his legacy of inclusion and service will inspire generations to come. And whereas Donnie Jones has exemplified the highest ideals of community service, compassion, and leadership, touching countless lives, his dedication and his belief that every child deserves the opportunity to belong, participate, and succeed. And whereas his heartfelt description of the athletes he serves as my kids reflects the love, commitment, and personal investment he has made in helping special needs individuals and their families feel valued and supported. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Barbara Volk, Mayor of the City of Henderson, on behalf of the City Council, hereby recognize and honor Donnie Jones for his outstanding service, visionary leadership, and unwavering dedication to the special needs community and to the citizens of Henderson County. And it further proclaimed, all citizens are encouraged to join in celebrating Donnie Jones for his remarkable achievements, the lasting impact he has made by creating opportunities, building community, demonstrating that there are no limits to what can be accomplished, service, passion, and inclusion.
Right.
And Donnie, you're welcome to stay, but if you do wish to leave, you may.
Take her to dinner, Donnie.
Thank you. All right, go into our first of our many public hearings. First is our fiscal year 2026-2027 budget adoption.
Mayor Volk, if I may have a little discretion and ask Adam Murr to join me, I want to recognize Adam as our budget director. But before I do that, I'd like for also Ethan and Jules to join me. Adam's going to introduce our two summer interns. You've seen them around, and we want to introduce them to the public. So Adam is one of the two supervising our two interns. So turn it over to Adam.
Thank you, John. Mayor, Council, good afternoon. With us this evening, we have Ethan and Jules, who are our summer interns, as Mr. Conant mentioned. They are both currently undergraduate students, but have a passion for public service and interest in local government. Ethan is currently at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and Jules is currently at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania. They both had the opportunity to ride along with our police and fire departments, and they're closely working with the administrative team on their major summer projects, which will bring value to the city by the end of the summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Stand right here. So
Welcome. We're glad to have
definitely,
you.
I'm getting ready to make a presentation. I want to recognize Adam and Jenny Floyd. Jenny's out at training, I think, or so for their work on the budget. So just want to recognize you. Thank you, Adam. Keeps us straight with all things numbered under the tutelage of Deputy City Manager Brian Pauley. So I just want to recognize him and say thank you, Adam. Thank you. Don't go far. I may have questions. Yeah, so, Mayor Volk, members of the City Council, it's my pleasure to present the manager's budget for fiscal year 27. I will say my comments would have changed a little bit in the last 24 hours from what we still will make a formal presentation, but from a staff perspective, it is our recommendation that you do not adopt your budget tonight. We would ask that we open the public hearing, receive public comment. As you are aware, as you know, we spent a lot of time, a number of months, doing financial forecasting, capital planning, where we can, our financial model can show you what the impacts of certain expenses and revenues will be over a number of years. So we take pride in our strong financial position and in our modeling, and as well as our capital improvement program. Spent a lot of time strategically thinking. I have 2 notebooks up here as just an example. I'm not going to go through all of them, so don't get scared. But to remind you of our retreat back in February and March, and then also, of course, the budget workshop we had the 1st of May. Our budget, for the most part, has been buttoned up and ready to go since early May. However, last night the county commissioners adopted a budget that included a 4.3 cent tax increase. In addition, they increased sheriff's deputy salaries by an average of 18%. We're not exactly sure what that means, 18%, how it works out among the sheriff's deputies. But both of those items will have an impact. One, the tax increase will have a dramatic impact in future years for us as it relates to the sales tax, our sales tax distribution that we get from the county. We also foresee maybe potential other increases at the county level in future years. So we really, from our financial modeling and forecasting, we want to take some time to look at those impacts as it relates to your budget. In addition, we are in a competitive market for public safety. It's not only police, but fire and general employees for that matter. We've had a strong reputation and a strong practice of taking care of all of our team. And so looking at that potential increase on the sheriff's and how that impacts our team, we need to have some discussion about that and give you some options to consider, again, looking for years forward. And then on top of all the local impacts, we knew this was coming. However, when you put it in with the local impacts, the state legislature is looking at a bill that could potentially cap the property tax levy in future years. We feel like that there is potential for a constitutional amendment on the November election, and ultimately could then, assuming it passes, that issue would be taken up in the long session in 2027. So we knew we had one headwind, so to speak, with the constitutional amendment, but you add the other 2, then we felt like instead of adopting our budget tonight, we would want to take a little bit of time. Didn't feel like 24 hours is quite enough to evaluate in our big financial model of what those impacts will be. Also, talk to our team about salary. We had planned a pay and classification study for this coming year anyway, but are there things that we need to do before then? Are there things we just want to circle as a team and give City Council some options or recommendations? Nothing may change from this proposed budget that I'll go over in just a minute, but there may be some additional recommendations. My commitment to the City Council and to the citizens is any potential change will be very transparent. It will be released to the public prior to, we will meet on the 24th of the month, right? Wednesday the 24th. Our plan, I would actually ask council to keep the public hearing open until that point, so that if we do make changes, the public can speak. Make sure I do that correctly, Madam Attorney, but we will request to do that. And if we are making any changes, we will release those via social media and to our local news media so they know that there has been proposed changes. So in as much advance notice as we possibly can for our public to be here on June 21st if they want to comment. So I'll stop right there before I go through the budget adoption, but I think based on what has happened in the last 24 hours, that's the most prudent thing for us to do for good financial planning and management of our city. Okay. All right, let's jump right in there. All right, it is my pleasure. Thanks to our team and thanks to our department heads and everyone that's been involved in preparing this budget. We began with capital planning in December of 2025, moved into operational in early 26, and have taken most of the spring as we normally do to prepare this budget. Remind everyone that our vision is that it's a vibrant mountain city where the government and citizens work together for a high quality of life. Our mission is we are committed to providing quality, efficient services to all citizens, visitors, businesses through open communication, timely responses, and quality results. Our budget is built around several focus areas and enablers. We begin this, you'll hear a little more about the strategic plan later in this agenda, but it was based on information that was presented and discussed during our retreat, February 26th and 27th. We began the process of updating our 3-year strategic plan through community engagement, focus groups, staff input, community meetings, and council leadership sessions. We have 5 focus areas and 5 enablers. Realizing not that everybody likes the word enabler, but there it is. And we are with defined goals, actions, key performance indicators. I gotta have a little bit of fun, right? Brian, under the leadership of Deputy City Manager Brian Pauley. So you see our focus areas there: public safety, parks, greenways, and natural amenities, strong infrastructure, business and economic development, housing, growth management, and community character. Our enablers are high-performing city workforce, financial sustainability, community partnerships, high-functioning city council, and engaged and educated community. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks, Gary. Total recommended budget at this moment is $75,150,992. Where is the money spent? 45% of that goes to your general fund, which includes your general government, public safety departments, general management, finance, planning, those type activities. The second largest portion is 43% is your water and sewer utility, all things water and sewer, and then you see the lesser percentages of a much smaller fund, such as environmental services, which is sanitation, stormwater, parking, capital reserve for water and sewer, our 2 MSDs, Main Street. We have a new housing fund, as well as a couple of capital reserves and a special revenue fund. Where's the money coming from? 60% of our revenues come from, on the general fund side, come from ad valorem taxes. So as you can see, a clear majority. The remaining amount, 32%, comes from unrestricted intergovernmental, primarily sales tax. So you can see over almost 93% of our revenue comes from 2 sources, ad valorem tax and sales tax, and that's why it's important based on the action of the legislature and also how the sales tax is distributed from the county is critical for the public to understand and for us to understand any changes in the impact of that. Budget at a glance, we are not proposing a property tax increase at the moment. No change from the previous rates. Also, we are holding our Main Street and 7th Avenue Municipal Service District tax rates at 21 cents. So no change there. We are asking for water and sewer rate increases, 8% increase for water, 9% sewer increase for sewer. Those rate increases are needed to continue to fund our capital improvement program and improvements of infrastructure throughout our system. We will continue with the rate differential between inside and outside, which the City Council agreed to a number of years ago, We are scheduled to have equalized rates on the water side by 2030 with a 5% reduction. So, stormwater rates and fees were proposed to increase by $1 for residential customers. Non-residential stormwater cap would be increased to $450. No increases for environmental services, which is solid waste, and no increase in parking rates as part of this budget. Just giving you a brief history of your tax base and your tax rates over time, and how the reevaluations and the tax levy change, again, drawing attention to the potential bill in the legislature. If you look to my far left here, which I think is everybody because you got it behind me, is you see that in FY 1999, our tax rate was at 55 cents per $100. You see that it decreased to a period of time based on growth of the community through the Great Recession around 2008, 2009. We had significant growth in the first half of the 2000s, or the first decade of 2000s. In the second decade, it was very flat after the Great Recession. During that time, we also lost a number of revenue sources that were taken away from us by the General Assembly, franchise tax, some other recurring revenue that was taken away. So you start seeing the tax rate increasing, but you also, in the beginning of the third decade of this year, or of this century, you'll see that our property values started increasing and our tax values have leveled out, and we're at 52 cents. So tax rate now is less than it was in 1999. And you see the far right column is a projected column for next year based on our financial model. Just giving you a little history there. You can see the changes. How do we rate among our peers? We're a little bit above medium there. So, but we feel we're in pretty good shape based on our comparable cities. These cities, many of them have larger tax base than us, and we feel strongly that we're providing a high level of service based on the 52 cents. So you can see the cities above us and you can see the cities below us. So we're very comparable to our peers. Recommended budget, again, we're focused on long-term financial sustainability. Focuses, we do a good job of planning, looking to the future, making sure that we don't have any surprises in future calendar years or future fiscal years. We're committed to compensation and benefits for our team. We want to recruit and retain the best, provide good medical coverage and retirement costs. We're prioritizing strong infrastructure with key water and sewer projects, including treatment plant, line, pump station improvements. Fun fact here, Adam Stewart, who's not here, did a quick analysis that things that Adam does of the impact of keeping our water system operational after Helene, and I believe the value to our business community by being operational was I think the number is $175 million a week based on the value of our system. So that is what would have been lost in commerce if our utility system had not. That number right? Does that sound right? Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I mean, I think it's like $500 million a month. So that tells you. So it may be a day, but that's the value that having a strong water and sewer system brings to our community to ensure that commerce and life goes on during natural disasters. We want to continue to enhance public safety by funding extraction equipment, thermal imaging, things that our folks need daily to respond to those things when people are not having the best day. We want to continue to advance affordable housing options. We have established a housing fund. You see the new positions there. Again, focusing on public safety of 4 police officers, 1 civilian crash investigator, an additional 911 telecommunicator, 2 fire training officers, and 1 construction and 1 part-time human resources coordinator. One final glance at the budget before I get into the details. Again, keeping in mind there may be a cap on our tax levy. Total recommended budget $75,150,000. You can see on the general fund by function where your tax money is spent by department or by function. 28% police department, 22% fire department, general government is 17%, and public works is 15%, and then debt service and community development. But I think what this slide, particularly related to the general fund, is, you know, over 70% of our expenditures cover operational, real world, on the street, police, fire, and public works. I think that is a key message that we would want to share there. On the water and sewer side, you'll see that primarily capital treatment of water, distribution, wastewater treatment, our general business operations and debt service make up the water and sewer fund. So largest thing there is general operating of the utility. General fund highlights here, tax rate 52 cents. You see total revenues there. Total expenditures is over $32 million. Revenues at $30 million. We're appropriating and other revenue sources at $1.4 million. Again, no change in the tax rate. Sales tax growth has been tremendous for us. Our expenditures are focusing, largest expenditure growth is in our personnel and benefits. You've seen a decrease in our operating because we're transferring our PAL bill money out, putting that into our bond project funds that will be paid out of that special revenue fund. You see an increase in capital, putting prioritization on critical equipment replacements. We had been, in our opinion and staff's opinion, been under spending in that area, and we needed to replace some. We had some deferred maintenance and deferred replacement. We need to improve that a little bit. Our debt service is steady with a slight decrease. You can look at our fund balance and other financing there as it relates to transfers. Our budget, as you see, is 1.408, and we estimate 1.1, but at the end of the year, we continue to have a strong unassigned fund balance there. So very conservative budgeting. And it will remain above your goal of 25%. Main Street Fund, no change here. Major expenditures, personnel and benefits, slight decrease in your expenditures, but the largest focus there is salary splits for our folks taking care of our downtown areas. Operating decrease because of some capital we bought last year, no capital this year, and a little bit of debt service. We're going to purchase a vehicle there. So you see there is a transfer from the general fund to support this fund of $43,939 proposed there. Is our estimated transfer versus the budget. So total expenditures in this fund $934,390. 7th Avenue, again, no rate increase. Total expenditures $278,184. Fund balance will be used a little bit in this fund. We're seeing an increase in streetscape items and equipment significantly on the expenditure side. No capital, a little bit of debt service for their portion, the 7th Avenue's portion of the downtown vehicle that's used for farmers markets and things like that, and a slight increase in personnel. So we budgeted a transfer from the general fund. However, we don't think we'll have to use it there. So, and you'll see the end of the year fund balance proposal or estimate. Back to one of our larger funds, your water and sewer fund. User fees, as I said, average increase of 8.5%, 8% on water, 9% on sewer. Our system development fees will reach the 100% mark. And to remind you that we phased in the system development fees, and so we will meet the final movement to that, and it'll be 100% going forward. You'll see the rate differential drop again of a negative 5%, so we're at 115% of rates, to nearing the 100% rate equalization there. Expenditures, primarily personnel operating, 1.4 million pay-as-you-go capital, debt service, 6.3 million total debt service, an increase of 107. We did a bond issue last year. This will be taking on that payment. We're transferring funds for vehicles and capital purchases, and also remind you that the SDF fees, $850,000, have to be transferred to a capital reserve fund and have to be used to fund capacity projects as it relates to the water and sewer fund. It cannot be used on operation, and it cannot, again, it has to be focused on capacity that benefits the entire system. You see there, we don't have a fund balance policy. However, we must meet our bond covenants there, and we have run those numbers, and our estimates are that we will meet our bond covenants, which is very important for our revenue bonds and being able to sell future bonds to fund capital improvements there. Total expenditures in this fund, $31,573,900. Parking fund, no change. Expenditures, $1,347,585. Other financing sources right at $199. That is a transfer in from the general fund estimate. The budget transfer, however, we estimate we're only going to use about $85,000 of that $199 estimate. Main expenditures here are personnel and benefits. Saw a slight reduction in operating, zero capital, and a slight reduction in debt service. So no significant changes there in the parking fund, but parking fund continues to grow. Still a little ways to go for self-supporting, but doing well, and continues year over year to grow and start to support itself, which is not only good for financially, but it also is showing that activity in our downtown continues to grow, and utilization of our parking, and particularly the parking deck. Stormwater fund, as on the residential side, increase of $1, increased the cap to $450, which is for our commercial. So a $50 increase there to go to $450. This is, if you remember the rate study we had 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, that this was the plan to get it to $9 and to get the cap to $450. So we've carried out the plan. The council, under the advice of the Business Advisory Committee and other folks, requested a phase-in approach for our stormwater fees. We followed that plan. And we're at the end of that plan and plan to move forward with that. You can see an additional $220,000 of user fee revenue. Major expenditures, personnel and benefits in the stormwater department. We were making some changes on the public works side, so you see a reduction in expenditures on the personnel and benefits there. That some funds will be redirected. That taking it out of personnel and benefits will allow additional funding for contracting of capital improvements. So putting the money back into using contractors. Operating budget, $66,000. No major capital. Debt service, a decrease of $1,800. Transfer to capital reserve. Again, building a fund for future capital project. Also, $300,000 set aside to the Wash Street project. We got a significant grant for that. That is our match. We see our fund balance increasing by $77,000. Environmental services, no change in user fees. Expenditures, just over $2.4 million there. Again, no change. Expenditures, mainly personnel and benefits. A slight increase in operating, no capital. Slight increase in debt service to pay for additional solid waste vehicles. We're going to use an appropriation from the fund balance of 70,000, no general fund transfer, and we do estimate a fund balance increase at the end of the year of 64,533. So here's your budget in total, 75,150,992. I will not read through those numbers. Adam Murr can correct anything I got wrong as part of this presentation. So you give me the yank here in a minute if I got anything wrong, and we'll stand by for, staff stands by for any questions, comments, so forth.
Thank you. Questions? When you have questions. At this point. Okay. Thank you, everyone that was involved in putting that together. Right, this is public hearing. Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it has.
We will open this public hearing. Nobody signed up ahead of time to speak. Anyone in the meantime decide they wish to speak on this? Is there anyone online seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
Right? Well, if there's no objection, we will leave this public hearing open, continue it to the meeting on the 24th.
Madam Mayor, I have a motion for
Oh, okay,
Councilmember Lawrence to read.
okay.
Madam Mayor, I move City Council recess and continue this public hearing to our June 24th, 2026 meeting at 4:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as may be open at City Operation Building 305 William Street, Hendersonville, in the large meeting room.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of continuing this public hearing say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and so we'll continue it in a couple of weeks. Right. Thank you.
I shouldn't have sat down, Mayor.
Yeah. We have another a resolution authorizing the City of Hendersonville to participate in the Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure, CPACE program.
Mayor, vote, members of City Council. City Council adopted a resolution of intent at your first May meeting for the city to join the CPACE program. It is a program to provide capital financing for private enterprise, private entities who want to take advantage of projects that look at water, electricity, sustainability items in their projects. It's completely private financing. The program is administered by the Economic Development Partnership in North Carolina. There's no obligation by the city of Hendersonville whatsoever. It does not impact, we are not pledging any taxing authority. We're not pledging any benefits. Simply the jurisdiction has to agree to participate in the program. We will need to, part of the law is that we will have to get concurrence from Henderson County. But the next action, it has this public, after your public hearing, and has been duly advertised, is for the council to adopt the resolution agreeing to participate. We will ask for concurrence, and if we get concurrence, then we will be part of the program, and private developers, entities will have access to that financing through the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina and private lenders who make available this financing. It just gives folks that are focusing on projects that include significant sustainability items and the opportunity to get some additional capital financing.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it has.
Okay. We will open this public hearing. Again, no one has signed up here. Anyone wish to speak? Is anyone online seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right. And we'll close that public hearing. Council discussion or a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move the City Council adopt a resolution authorizing the City of Hendersonville to participate in the CPACE program.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not those in favor of adopting the resolution to participate in the CPACE program, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and we will send our request on to Henderson County.
Thank you.
And next, we have a public hearing, consideration of incentives to Project Crown. And I don't see Ms. Brady, but I do see, oh, all right.
We're going to
City Attorney will start out. And
Good
he has Ms.
evening.
Martin.
Yes, it's my pleasure and privilege to bring to you another economic development project called Project Crown. As you know, you have to have a public hearing to consider granting incentives to Project Crown. By now, these slides are looking pretty familiar to you guys. But you're authorized to make appropriations for this purpose. And we have to find that it increases our taxable property and employment prospects of the city. You have guidelines that tell when a company can qualify for incentives. And this is the crux of it right here. Based on the number of jobs that they create and the wages that they pay will determine a percentage incentive payment that they will get of the property taxes that they pay for a number of years. And so we have Emily Martin with us from the partnership, and she is going to talk about Project Crown specifically.
Thank you. Good evening. Emily Martin from the partnership. Project Crown, I'm just going to read my thing. So Project Crown is a public global manufacturing company that provides design, engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain services to many of the world's top brands. Project Crown is focused on precision injection molded components that are subsequently assembled via high-speed automated assembly lines and shipped to customers for final labeling and distribution in the healthcare industry. The company has global locations as well as locations in the state of North Carolina. To accommodate growth in the market, the company is considering building a new facility to serve their existing markets. The project has considered sites in Ireland, Illinois, Florida, and North Carolina. The company is considering a location in Henderson County within the city of Hendersonville. They will construct an approximate 130,000 square foot building, estimated at nearly $73 million in value, and invest over $51 million in business personal property. The total project investment is $123,885,629. The project would create 148 new positions with an average wage exceeding $62,776 annually. Based on a 7-year straight-line depreciation of business personal property, 25% residual at 90% threshold, you're looking at a total of $3,520,274.60 from the city of Hendersonville in incentives.
Okay. All right. Anyone have questions for Ms. Martin? No? Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it has.
All right, we will open this public hearing. Nobody signed up ahead of time. Anyone wish to speak on this? Is anyone online seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, close that public hearing. Council, discussion or a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move City Council adopt the resolution of the City of Hendersonville City Council to approve economic development incentives for Project Crown and authorize city manager to execute agreement with the.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not? Those in favor of adopting the resolution for the economic development incentives, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and move on with that. Thank you for coming, Emily. All right, now we get to kind of a more traditional public hearing. This is for an annexation, 552 Clear Creek Road, Carolina Village, 2624 ANX. All right, Mr. Hayes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. Yes, we have a contiguous annexation petition for a tract that sits directly adjacent to the current Carolina Village campus. It's a 2-acre tract. I'll get into some of the details here. The petitioners are Kevin Perry's of Carolina Village and Tom Jones of WGLA Engineering. The PIN for the property is 9579-08-2767, and the address is 552 Clear Creek Road. And the acreage is approximately 2.04 acres, and you can see on the map on the right of the screen that it does sit directly adjacent to that Carolina Village property. It kind of slides into a cutout right on the edge of the property. Here you have the annexation plat, and we have a motion for approval and denial, and I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicants are also here and can answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hayes? Would the applicants like to add anything to that? Not at this time. Okay, thank you. Checking on something here. Okay. No questions on anything then? Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it has.
Okay, we will open this public hearing. Is nobody signed up in person to speak on the annexation? Is anyone online wishing to speak?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. In that case, we will close that public hearing. Council, discussion, or a motion regarding the annexation?
Madam Mayor, I move City Council adopt an ordinance of the City of Hendersonville to extend the corporate limits of the city as a contiguous annexation to annex that property owned by Carolina Village, identified as PIN 9579-08-2767, finding that the standards established by North Carolina General Statute 160A-31 have been satisfied and that the annexation is in the best interest of the city.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not? Those in favor of this annexation say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and that has been annexed. Okay, and we have a related public hearing regarding a rezoning.
Yes, so these two public hearings go hand in hand. So the Carolina Village is requesting to rezone. They are currently a planned residential conditional zoning district as well as R15. I'll touch on that in just a second. And they are requesting to rezone to urban village conditional zoning district. So some project details. The address for the property is 600 Carolina Village Road. The applicants are the same as the previous applicants. It's Kevin Perry's with Carolina Village, who owns the properties, and then Tom Jones with WGLA Engineering. The total acreage is a little over 96 acres, or almost 97 acres. And like I just mentioned, this is currently zoned planned residential conditional zoning district. So the main campus is a PRD CZD. And then there are actually 3 other parcels, one of which was just annexed into the city, and then 2 parcels at the entry to the Carolina Village campus that are currently zoned R15. And so all of those parcels, all 4 of those parcels would be, if you all approve this rezoning, would be urban village conditional zoning. And the future land use designation for all of the properties are multi-generational living. A neighborhood compatibility meeting was held on April 1st, 2026. There were 4 people, 4 residents or surrounding neighbors in person. There were 4 city staff and then 2 people from the applicant's team. And a number of things were discussed, a lot of clarification about what the project was. But then the main topic of discussion was water runoff and asking the applicant about adequate facilities for stormwater retention, which I will touch on in a little bit. So looking at some of the site photos, these are all taken kind of looking across Carolina Village Road. So this is that internal drive that goes through the Carolina Village campus. And so top left photo is looking over that road to the southwest, and that is the area that the new apartment building will be located on. I meant to mention that earlier. The proposal is not just to rezone this property, but the applicant is seeking to construct a 60-unit apartment building and an 8,000 square foot wellness center all within one structure. And so we're looking at the area of the campus where that would be located. Upper right-hand corner photo, similarly looking over Carolina Village Road into that area of the current campus. And then the two lower photos are kind of standing with Carolina Village Road to the back of the photo and looking into that area, which is primarily wooded right now. So here we have the site master plan that the applicant has provided. So this helps kind of see what the existing buildings on the campus look like, and then where that new building will be constructed. I will note that in consultation with legal, we only reviewed the area directly adjacent to the new apartment building for zoning compliance. So all of the existing buildings on the campus we have not looked at thoroughly. If any of them do not meet the urban village standards, which do have some design standard elements to them, they would be considered non-conforming. And if they pass our threshold for bringing into conformity, they would have to be brought into conformity. The applicant is aware of this. We've had this conversation throughout the whole process. So that is not necessarily an issue. But just for clarity, we looked at the area directly adjacent to the proposed apartment building, which I will point out right here. So it's kind of right up here, right next to that parcel that was just annexed into the city. And then all of the existing buildings on the campus will remain and in a future time may need to be brought into conformity. I think that's all I wanted to touch on this slide. So looking specifically at that area directly adjacent to the new proposed apartment building. So I mentioned they are proposing to construct a 60-unit multifamily building. They would also have an 8,000 square foot wellness center, as well as event space and offices. There is sufficient parking for all of those different uses proposed. There is also the use of existing stormwater facilities, which the engineer says does have the capacity. The engineer is here, and if you have further questions about that, I'm sure they're happy to speak to that and all of the calculations that they've done. The applicant has provided a 7-foot sidewalk along the front of the building, as well as interconnectivity throughout the site, which is required per the Urban Village Zoning District. Looking at the landscaping plan, the preliminary landscaping plan has met all of our preliminary plan requirements. I will note we had the applicant show that newly annexed parcel on, or at least partially show on this landscaping plan. That is going to provide an additional buffer between the existing residential that's outside of the Carolina Village campus and this new apartment multifamily building. There's currently a house on that property, and the applicant is proposing to demolish that house and then plant some additional trees on that property. The developer has proposed one condition. I'll read it. It says, "The TIA requirement as stated in the Urban Village Zoning District shall be waived because the addition of 60-unit multifamily building does not surpass the threshold of 100 peak hour trips and 1,000 daily trips." Staff does not have an issue with this. Planning board also did not have an issue with this. They supported this condition. City staff has no proposed conditions for this project, and all the zoning requirements have been met in their preliminary site plan and landscaping plan, and the only outstanding comments are fire-related, and those can all be addressed at final site plan. Looking at the comprehensive plan consistency, I mentioned before, but this is in our multi-generational living future land use classification, and the surrounding area has open space, mixed-use commercial, and innovation. I'm not going to go through the complete comprehensive plan consistency, but I will note that in staff's analysis and then ultimately planning board's recommendation, they did find that this is consistent with the comprehensive plan. I mentioned before, this is currently planned residential development in R15. Surrounding zoning includes R15, R20, planned commercial development, C3, and then other planned residential development. And surrounding land use is predominantly single-family homes, multifamily, and commercial. And then I'm not going to go through all of these compatibility measures, but it was found, like I mentioned before, to be consistent with basically all of the goals and guiding principles of the comprehensive plan. And here is the draft comprehensive plan consistency statement that planning board recommended, as well as their rationale for approval that they recommended. Then we also have a rationale for denial, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Hayes?
I have one about stormwater runoff. We got a couple comments from the neighbors about it, and since we have folks here who might be able to answer, I wonder if we might just get like an overview of those preventative measures in addition to the buffer that I know is going in.
Yes, and they have a presentation, and I
Oh, never mind. I rescind my question then.
may address that, and if not, they can certainly do that.
Yes.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about that. We are very excited about this project. It is part of our strategic plan, so I think everybody's in the strategic planning mode these days, and master planning. But Caroline Village is what we consider to be care that is always there for our residents and for the community. And so we have a long history in Henderson County. This actually started back in the 60s by one idea, one vision of one individual. Her name was Mignon Sullivan. She had an idea that she wanted to figure out who was going to take care of her when she grew older in our community. And so she seeked out the people that she trusted, and at that time was her attorney and her physician. And so she kind of leaned on specific individual on that, but this was actually a rendering that she had dreamed up about what Caroline Village would look like when they built it from her vision. And so you kind of see that there's different levels, and as you move up there, there's indoor and outdoor space, but as you move up, your needs were met, and then of course at the very, very top is when your highest needs are met, and eventually you would perish to go to heaven, and that was her idea. But she came and she talked to Dr. Kenneth Cosgrove, which was a major member of our community. And he started back in the 60s, and he was part of the Chamber of Commerce that kind of investigated about retirement living in Henderson County. And out of that, for almost a decade, they and other individuals, leaders in our community, came up with the idea of a retirement community. We are the only licensed CCRC, continuing care retirement community. We now call ourselves a life plan community. That is a new terminology for CCRCs in the state of North Carolina. But we're the only ones in Henderson County. There's other providers out there. There's for-profit and not-for-profit. And we're very proud to be a not-for-profit CCRC life plan community here in Henderson County, and have been since 1974 when we opened up our doors. So part of this is we do offer a continuum of care to all of our residents and the people that we serve. So we have independent living services. That's to keep people living independently as long as possible. We do have an assisted living on our campus. That is a 60-bed assisted living, private rooms, as well as a 58-bed skilled nursing facility that is a Medicare reimbursed program, as well as private on our campus. So they don't have to leave their home in order to get care that they might need as their needs change throughout their continuum of their life. We are also a big, proud member of our community at large. As you can see, this is a list, and this is not an exclusive list of people that we partner with in Henderson County to make Henderson County a richer place, a better place for all of us to be part of. And that is our commitment to the community. Since we are a 501c3, this is just a portion of it. We do partner as much as we possibly can with the city. We're working right now with the Greenway Project. We've worked with the fire department and the police department, trying to provide them with opportunities for their staff to be trained. As part of that, we also do the congregate meal program in Henderson County, and we do many more outreaches for the greater community, which is an important part of who we are. As you can see, we have 556 current residents. We have 392 as of today, staff members. We are on those 98 acres, as was mentioned. We do have 135 cottages, 250 apartments currently. There's assisted living and our skilled. Our youngest residents, because of a statute in the state of North Carolina, you have to be at least 62 years of age to move into a continuing care retirement community. Our youngest resident is 65. And unfortunately, we just lost our 104-year-old resident this past week, but we have a 103-and-a-half-year-old right behind her. And we have over 11 residents that are over the age of 100 that live on our campus right now. We do have over 1,000 people on our waiting list to hopefully move to Carolina Village. And until Sierra Nevada moved into town, we had the largest kitchen, but they kind of knocked us down to number 2. We were very proud of that commercial kitchen in Henderson County that we work with. So our project, as we've been working with SFCS and Bloom Construction, which are 2 familiar people with this community. This is a rendering, an aerial view of that. It is 60 apartments. There's 4 different apartment styles: a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and then a 2-bedroom expanded, which gives you a little bit of a study area, and then a den. In this, we mentioned about an 8,000 square foot multi-purpose space that is on this lower level of this building, which is where all those glasses are right there. And then, of course, we also are incorporating a rooftop terrace that will give you wide range views of those mountain ranges for our residents and for our community at large. And then, of course, there's an aerial top view of that proposed roof terrace on that end of it. I think that would be a very exciting part of this package that will give opportunities for us to be able to do a lot of things here in our community. More pictures of those rooftop terrace, and then of course those views that you'll see from that actual terrace portion of that. We are very excited about that opportunity. It will bring 60 residents. We currently have, if approved, we have a tentative sneak peek for our residents on our waiting list. We already have a lot of people signed up to attend that in July, and we hope to break ground on this and start doing construction next year at this point. And it'll take us about 2 years to do that. I do have Tom Jones with WGLA, and he'll be able to answer a lot of those stormwater questions. We did have a great opportunity to speak to some of our neighbors in Country Acres. They were individuals that were highly impacted by Helene. We actually had the opportunity to save a couple out of that flooding waters back there. And so they became a member of Carolina Village for several months while their houses were able to get back onto their feet a little bit. But we're going to talk a little bit about how that stormwater is going to be managed for this project. So,
My name is Tom Jones with WGLA Engineering, and we are working with Carolina Village on the civil and site and working with architects. So I think the staff did a great job of talking about the master plan. The thing to point out about this plan is really, like, you can see the area that's going to be annexed. How do you do that little zoom in? That's pretty cool. But the orange is the proposed building, but then you see that kind of a little bit different color area. That's the area that you all just annexed tonight. That really provides a nice buffer between this project and the neighboring Country Acres. It's over 300 feet from the building itself to the property line, that outer boundary of what's annexed. So, and as well as there's tree save area opportunity, and we'll talk a little bit about the actual numbers there. Actually, it's right here. It's 330 feet from the multi-story building to the property line. So there's going to be lots of natural buffer there and tree save area. Site plan, I think Sam did a great job covering. This is where I show on the slide the There's over 927,000 square feet of existing tree canopy on the campus. And even after this project, there'll still be 91% preserved. The requirement for tree preservation is 30%, so we're, obviously well beyond that. Sam did talk about the amenities as well. We're showing a 7-foot sidewalk along the road. There's planting beds and pergola in the common area also along the road. So it's going to give you that urban village feel, where it's the buildings up by the street and the parking is behind. Stormwater management, that sounds like that's of interest. We did talk to the neighbors at the meeting, and I think they felt better after we described what we're doing. We are going to provide stormwater on site. We're going to have a subsurface system similar to a lot of what we do in Hendersonville. But beyond that, the system itself, you see the little blue arrows there, it goes to the north to the existing pond that's on the campus. And during Helene, the pond held without an issue. So really this water is actually going to be treated twice. It's really it's a great bonus for us. We don't normally get that opportunity on site. So the water is actually directed away from Country Acres, not towards Country Acres when it's all said and done. So I think we have a great strategy for dealing with stormwater for the project. Traffic impact analysis, Sam covered that. The trips generated is based on the ITRE, which is the Institute of Transportation Research Engineers. But based on those, on the manuals there, the trips generated are 20 trips in the AM peak, which is the morning peak, and 15 trips in the PM peak, which are a fifth of the, of the triggers of your typical requirement for other zoning codes. So the conclusion we would draw is it's reasonable to waive the requirement for a TIA for this project. Well, I think we've talked about the project pretty well. It does provide additional housing for the city, which I think we all believe is needed. We show adequate buffers, and they're provided for the project. We have proper stormwater management proposed. The plan does meet all the city requirements to the best of our knowledge, and the city staff has confirmed. And we think, and it's been confirmed, that the project is consistent with the Gen H goals. So we would appreciate your approval, and we're here to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions? That cover your concerns?
Yes, fully. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? All right, thank you. Okay, for the public hearing. Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it has.
Okay, we had no one sign up ahead of time. Does anyone wish to speak? Is there anyone online seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we did have 2 digital public comments which came in earlier. I will read those. First is Jeffrey Calhoun, 129 Greenfield Lane, Hendersonville. And comment is, this comment pertains to more development at Carolina Village. There's already so much water runoff that originates in Carolina Village that it overwhelms my neighborhood drainage system, including a culvert that runs alongside my property. The drainage infrastructure has been eroded and sinkholes are developing. The grate no longer fits, and this is a hazard. The road could have involvement soon as the culvert runs underneath it. I am not opposed to Carolina Village expanding as long as they take care of the issues that excess runoff causes. Thank you. And the second one is Herbert Abendroth, 127 Atwood Drive, Hendersonville. And the comment is, with the upcoming building project, my primary concern, as I mentioned during the April meeting, is the potential for runoff to cause erosion and damage to my property. After seeing the impact from the heavy rains in late May, it raised additional concerns about what conditions may look like once the new building is completed. I would also like to discuss what proactive measures can be taken to prevent future issues. Specifically, I would ask that Carolina Village consider implementing grading or water diversion plans that direct runoff away from my property. If necessary, I would also appreciate discussions around grading improvements on my property itself as part of a preventive protection plan before construction is completed. I appreciate that the leadership team at Carolina Village has been in communication with me, and I hope we can continue to stay in close contact throughout the construction process and after the project is finished. Okay, those were the only digital comments that we received. So unless there's something else, we'll close that public hearing.
I just have a comment.
Go right ahead.
I appreciate you guys for reaching out so much with the neighbors, and I also appreciate Carolina Village for being good neighbors to the city of Hendersonville, especially with the Clear Creek Greenway project. And I hope that we get to see more of that in the future as well, especially with us just expanding our housing and you guys adding more residents to everybody stands to benefit from this partnership. And so I hope to be able to continue to see more of that.
Anything else? A motion. Who's ready?
Madam Mayor, I move City Council adopt an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the City of Hendersonville, changing the zoning designation of the subject property INS 9579-18-3, 554, 9579-08-2767, 9579-37-5327, and 9579-37-6200 from PRD CZD to, and R15 to Urban Village Conditional Zoning District based on the site plan and list of conditions submitted by and agreed to by the applicant and presented at this meeting, and subject to the following. The development shall be consistent with the site plan, including the list of applicable conditions contained therein and the following permitted uses: adult care centers registered with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, accessory uses and structures, dance, health, and fitness facilities, neighborhood community centers, offices, businesses, professional and public, personal services, restaurants, residential dwellings, single, two, and multifamily. The petition is found to be consistent with the City of Hendersonville Gen H 2045 comprehensive plan based on the following information from the staff analysis, and because the petition is consistent with a range of goals, guiding principles, and the future land use designation of multi-generational living as defined in Chapter 4 of the Gen H comprehensive plan. We find this petition to be reasonable and in the public interest based on the information from the staff analysis, public hearing, and because the petition provides additional housing. The petition provides an adequate buffer between the multifamily and single-family housing on adjacent properties, and the petition will adequately address stormwater through the use of existing stormwater retention facilities.
Hey, thank you. Is there any discussion? Not? Those in favor of this rezoning, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. And that has been taken care of. So, you can get to your construction. Thank you. Okay, and we have a public hearing and a resolution to designate the City of Hendersonville to exercise housing powers pursuant to General Statute Chapter 157.
Good evening, again. We've been talking about this for some time, but this is your first official housing implementation plan action since the plan has been adopted that we've brought to you, especially since the Housing Summit, so it's very exciting. What is coming around is basically what's going to be on the presentation side, so the public will get to see it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the housing authority powers and what we can't currently do that we will need to be able to do to implement the plan. The housing authority powers, in the folder. It should be in the folder. Put it in there a couple days ago.
while we're filibustering, we saw that example last night a little bit. Anyway, I will say my numbers were wrong with Adam's analysis. It is $1,750,000 per day in the economic impact of maintaining the water system fully functional during Helene. So I was off a little bit. So
It's not in there?
Still impressive.
that's, I mean, I think that's
Okay.
real,
I
that's
don't
real
know
money.
how to- My thing didn't upload for some reason, my presentation, so I'll just talk about it. If you look at the back sheet, and I do have a couple extras, I think, that I could hand out to the,
We just sent them. No, they're right here. Sorry.
so it is necessary, Chapter 157 of the general statutes governs housing authorities and the powers of a housing authority. And a housing authority has more authority to do some programs that I think City Council may want to consider in implementing the strategic housing plan. And if you look at the back side, if you see the kind of salmon colored where it says no statutory authority, and then you look over to the right and it says, in yellow it says you have to use the housing authority powers to do this. So for instance, if you're selling or leasing property for fair market value, you can do that. If you want to sell it subsidized, you have to exercise the powers of a housing authority. And then the one that stood out to me the most is that, if you'll recall, we are not using low income, low to moderate income. We're using category 1, category 2, category 3, 4, and 5 in housing. Category 1 is less than 30% of the area median income. Category 2 is less than 60%. Category 3 is less than 80%. And so categories 1, 2, and 3 are what we traditionally refer to, or the federal government refers to as low to moderate. We established a category 4 in the plan, which is 80 to 120% of AMI, and that is what we are calling workforce housing. And because there are a lot of two-earner families that would be 80 to 120% that wouldn't normally qualify for assistance. And with the adoption of these powers, like for instance, if we did a housing project, you can subsidize that housing project as long as 20% of the units are reserved for 60% and below, which would be our category. Oh, there it is. So which would be reserved for people that are at category 1 or 2. So for instance, if we did a housing project that had 15 units, we'd have to reserve 20% for category 1 or 2, and then the rest could be up to 120% AMI. And so that is something that you really couldn't currently do unless you exercise the powers of a housing authority. That's just one example. Just for clarity, we are not proposing to become a housing authority. We are not proposing for the city to replace the current housing authority. This is just an action that is necessary for you to be able to exercise additional powers in furtherance of housing. And in particular, the one that I picked out, the power that I picked out to focus on is to conduct housing projects. And that would be, some of these you can do already, but not all of them. So a housing project is a real or personal property, buildings and improvements, stores, offices, lands for farming and gardening, community facilities acquired or constructed, or to be acquired or to be constructed pursuant to a single plan or undertaking for the following things: to demolish or repair unsafe or unsanitary housing, or provide safe and sanitary dwellings for categories 1, 2, and 3 households, provide rent subsidies for categories 1 and 2 households, or to provide grants, loans, interest supplements, and other programs of financial assistance to categories 1, 2, or 3 households to allow them to become owners of or rehabilitate their own housing, or to provide grants, loans, interest supplements, and programs of financial assistance to public or private developers providing housing for category 1, 2, or 3 households. And this is what I was talking about. It also includes any project that provides housing for persons of other than 1, 2, or 3, in other words, category 4, provided that at least 20% of the units are set aside for the exclusive use of category 1 and 2 houses. So it really will provide a lot of options for you to be able to consider. So the main power that we want to be able to exercise is to carry it out and operate those housing projects. And as I said, you can see the areas in yellow are ones that you need housing authority powers to exercise. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but do you all have any questions? This just says how we go about it. This is the process. You can delegate those powers to yourself. You have to have a public hearing, which is what we're here to do tonight, that was advertised, which it was. You have a resolution that makes the necessary findings, which is based on the housing needs assessment that you conducted, that there is insanitary and unsafe inhabited dwelling accommodations that exist in the city, and that there's also a lack of sanitary and safe dwelling accommodations in the city available for everyone. And then lastly, after you would make, after the public hearing, you would adopt a resolution. Are there any questions about that?
Any questions? No? All right. Thank you. The city attorney has already stated that this public hearing was advertised in accordance with general statutes.
Yes, Madam Mayor, it was.
So we will go ahead and open this public hearing. No one has signed up in person. Does anyone wish to speak? Is there anyone online seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
And there was no digital comment. So we'll close the public hearing. Council?
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council adopt a resolution enabling the City of Hendersonville to exercise the powers of a housing authority pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 157-4.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of the enabling resolution say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries. And we can now start exercising those powers. Thank you. Right, new business, special appropriations. Are we going to do that
I
part of it?
think you'd, if it's okay with council, we should just go ahead and do that and have that behind us. And I don't think that's going to change as part of the budget. So, Mayor Volk, members of the City Council, as part of your budget workshop, we have presented you with your special appropriations. We ask that you approve those special appropriations tonight. Just as a reminder, if those of you who have a conflict, we think we've identified those and provided the appropriate opportunity for you to speak about that, and ask to be recuse yourselves from that to avoid any possible conflict of interest. Council will vote. I think we've identified. If not, we can add. And then at the end, for each example, Councilmember Simpson at least has a potential conflict with the Boys and Girls Club, so she would ask to recuse herself. We would then ask, the council would then approve our special appropriation for that, for the Boys and Girls Club. And then we would go to the next council member and the next council member for their potential conflicts. And then at the end, we would ask to approve the remaining where there's no member who has a potential conflict. So at that point, I think I would ask if Councilmember Simpson is ready. We have her listed first, or are you?
No, I'm ready, but I have to do two. So before we move on to Melinda, there was one that was missing on here that we
Okay.
also have to do. So
Okay.
it's going to be great.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Madam Mayor, City Council, I want to disclose that I am currently engaged in performing work for the Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County. I've clarified with them that no funds from the city can be used to pay for the work that I am doing for them. I would also like to disclose that I've not participated in the special appropriations process for this nonprofit. However, in order to avoid a possible conflict of interest, I request that the city council permit me to recuse myself from voting on the special appropriations for this nonprofit.
I move the city council excuse Councilmember Simpson from voting on the special appropriation for the Boys and Girls Club, Henderson County.
Thank you. It has been moved that we excuse Councilmember Simpson from the vote on Boys and Girls Club. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of the motion to excuse her say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and you are excused from this vote. I don't think you have to leave. You don't discuss or vote. Okay. There's something else? Another
So we
motion?
do need a motion to
The
approve.
next Motion.
Madam Mayor, I move the city council approve the special appropriations for the Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the appropriation for Boys and Girls Club, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and that special appropriation has been adopted.
Councilmember Simpson, you want to do your second one now?
Sure. Madam Mayor, City Council, I want to disclose that I am currently engaged in a special relationship with Hands-On Children's Museum, and that I would also like to disclose that I have not participated in the special appropriations process for this nonprofit. However, in order to avoid a possible conflict of interest, I request that the City Council permit me to recuse myself from voting on the special appropriations for this nonprofit.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move the city council excuse Councilmember Simpson for voting on special appropriations for the Hands-On Gallery.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of excusing Councilmember Simpson, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and she is excused from this discussion and vote. Do we have another motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve the special appropriation for hands-on.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the special appropriation for hands-on, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and that appropriation has been approved. Next.
Madam Mayor, I would like to disclose that I have a role in the Henderson County Education Foundation. I have not participated in the special appropriation process for this nonprofit and request that the City Council permit me to recuse myself from voting on the special appropriation for the Henderson County Education Foundation.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that the City Council excuse Councilmember Lawrence from voting on the special appropriations for the Henderson County Education Foundation.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of excusing Councilmember Lawrence from the vote on the Henderson County Education Foundation, say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and she is excused. We have another motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that the City Council approve the special appropriation for the Henderson County Education Foundation.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of the special appropriation for Henderson County Education Foundation, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and that one has been taken care of. Next.
Madam Mayor and members of council, I would like to disclose that I have a role at Children and Family Resource Center. I have not participated in the special appropriations process for this nonprofit and request that City Council permit me to recuse myself from voting on the special appropriations for Children and Family Resource Center.
Thank you. Anyone have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council excuse Councilmember Baxter from voting on the special appropriations for the Children and Family Resource Center.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Those in favor of excusing Councilmember Baxter from the Children and Family Resource Center vote, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries, and she is excused. Anything else?
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve the special appropriation for the Children and Family Resource Center.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Those in favor of approving the special appropriation for Children and Family Resource Center, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and that one has been done too. All right. Now,
Madam Mayor, I move that the City Council approve the remaining special appropriation allocations for fiscal year 2026 to 2027 as presented.
all right, is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the remaining special appropriation allocations, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and taking care of the rest of it.
All you
right.
do-gooders.
Right?
We're just surrounded by do-gooders. Right?
Yeah, that's wrong with us.
I know, I'm feeling like, I don't know, bad for myself.
Oh, all right. Next, the fiscal year 27 to 29 strategic plan. Mr. Pauly.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, I don't have a presentation for you tonight. I feel that we've sufficiently gone through the strategic plan. I just am here to appreciate our staff and the community for going through the process. It was a really long process, and we got a lot of great input in it. So just really appreciate the community, all their input, our focus groups input, council conversations, the staff putting their input into this, and of course you all helping to shape the final plan. So it's here before you tonight, and we'll get to work starting July 1st.
Right. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. All right.
Madam Mayor, I move City Council adopt the resolution by the City of Hendersonville City Council to adopt citywide fiscal year 27 through 29 strategic plan.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the strategic plan, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it. A lot of work, and we are very grateful for all of it. Thank you. Excuse me. Next is a request from Henderson County for the Hendersonville Water and Sewer to accept and treat wastewater from Henderson County's Etowah sewer system.
Mayor Vogt, members,
Yeah.
Mayor Vogt, members of City Council, I think I'll handle this unless you have technical questions, and I'll call Assistant City Manager Brent Datweiler at that point. If you do, we have received a letter from Henderson County requesting agreement in concept. They've done a significant study of how to take the current Etowah sewer plant offline. Options range from building a new plant adjacent to the current plant, replacing in kind, those kind of things, to sending sewer to Buncombe County MSD or sending sewer to Hendersonville Water and Sewer. They have requested, the first step in this is requesting, would the city agree to in concept to accept them constructing a force main with at least 2 pump stations to connect to our sewer system. Once it connected, the sewer wastewater would flow to our wastewater plant where we would treat it. Our staff believes that that may be a very reasonable concept and maybe the most favorable in our opinion, but that is up to Henderson County regarding that. There are lots of details we would need to work out from engineering to connection costs and those kind of things, and Henderson County has acknowledged that, and that would be addressed later. But generally, before we responded, wanted permission from council or asked the council's input regarding to us agreeing in concept to accept their wastewater and treat it at our wastewater treatment plant. We stand by to answer any questions regarding that.
Any questions?
I assume right now it's too early to even talk about capital expenses for the city and what that would look like falling on us, but hopefully not really falling on us.
So those were absolutely the negotiations. We've discussed that briefly internally, looking at, hey, there might have to be some expand or increasing of line size, there will clearly be a system development fee charge associated with that, capital costs, those kind of things associated with, putting, allocating that capacity of our plant to this, and there's going to be capacity limits, and lots of permitting and things like that. So a little premature, but we would, if they do choose this option, that will be early discussions, absolutely.
And just also to express that, I know there's discussions of Edneyville sewer and growth in the county, and by us choosing to accept their sewer, because those residents are, it's not good shape out there, that this is not the city trying to expand our sewer system. This is not us trying to develop in rural Henderson County.
Great reminder. I did put that in I forgot to mention that as the agenda sheet. This is simply us providing a service. Henderson County would maintain land use control in the Edelwood area and in between. We would not, there's no requirement for annexation associated with them connecting to us. So yes, absolutely, this is simply a utility agreement discussion regarding them connecting and treating to us and taking this plant that is near catastrophic failure offline.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Okay.
Madam Mayor, I move the City Council agree in concept to accept and treat wastewater from Henderson County's Etowah sewer system and authorize staff to work with Henderson County staff to develop final terms and conditions.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of agreeing to the concept, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and we'll look forward to further discussion. Thank you. All right, next, WNC Rail Funding Letter of Support. Mayor Pro Tem Henson.
Mayor Pro Tem, you want to?
I sent everybody a email in the last week asking if we could support a resolution. This is a direct request and an urgent request actually from the governor's office. They are trying to allocate $28 million of funding that will also help this region run a passenger rail from Salisbury to Asheville. And the estimated economic impact of that passenger line would be $1 billion in economic impact to the region. And I think too, like, especially seeing how slow Asheville and Buncombe County have been to recover from Helene, having strong economic vitality and helping them out too as well. I think it would be great if we could support this.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would love to. Madam Mayor, I move the City Council approve the WNC Rail Funding Letter of Support and direct staff to distribute to our legislative delegation.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, all in favor of the letter of support, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and we can get that sent off. Thank you. Boards and commissions, I think we would like to move that. Do we need a motion or just general agreement?
Yeah. No, seriously, generally, I think just one quick explanation of why we're doing that. We have been meeting with our board chairs. Well, we met with staff and then also met with our board chairs and vice chairs yesterday, looking at the process, also trying to improve the process for the city council a little bit. And we have a number of appointments to make. Normally, it's at the end of a meeting late at night. We're doing very well tonight, but I don't want to jinx us. So I thought it would be better to put that on your second meeting of the month where it could get the attention that it deserves, that important opportunity there. And we're working to, again, we'll ultimately get feedback from council on how we can improve that process for you and make sure it's efficient and it meets your needs. So that's why we're asking to push it.
While we're looking at pushing it, there is something I would like us to consider, and I want to apologize for tree board members and ESB members that I have not mentioned it to them before this. But due to the number of vacancies that we have on both boards and the fact that their duties overlap some, I would like us to again explore looking at combining those two boards so that we would have an overall environmental board with a subcommittee for the tree board and a subcommittee for sustainability. And I would also like to make sure that we're keeping the requirement that we have an arborist on that board to make sure that we can efficiently do the programs that both of those boards are doing.
Does the arborist have anything to do with them applying for grants? Like, does that impact?
I think it's part of the Tree City requirement.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
which I want to make sure we're keeping, and I want to
Right.
continue the programs that the tree board is doing. But I also think, having served as a liaison to both boards, there are several things that overlap and several things that I see the boards being able to collaborate on, and I think it will be better in the long run so that it's not so much stuck on the same 2 or 3 people on each board to take on.
So we will, I think the way to start is for the city attorney and I to, because one of the tree board particularly is part of the city code, so we need to look at that and look at the bylaws of the ESB, start there, and have some conversations about that, so.
And this way too, we can have some conversations with tree board and ESB, since I've kind of just thrown a bomb at them.
So my inclination would be that, just asking would be that we would, this would take a little bit of time. You want to meet, because the tree board, I think, just met last week.
Yes.
And ESB is, next week is, maybe not do those appointments, still work out these details or determine whether it's work, not going to work, whatever, and look at doing that at potentially July or when you're ready.
Okay.
But I'm not saying we wait, we start with doing the work. It just may take more than 20 days to get all this done.
Yeah, plus if we wait, then I'll have an opportunity to speak with the tree board members at the next tree board meeting.
Yes, I agree.
And I'll probably have some more information that I can share with them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. City council comments, anything anyone would like to bring up? No, then we'll go to city manager.
I would like to jump into council comments if I may.
Yeah.
Since this meeting has gone just at an exponential speed, there is something that I have been thinking about bringing up for a while, was going to wait on, but figured tonight is as good a night as any. I've been looking into what other municipalities around us have been doing as far as data centers and looking into what steps we would like to take were one to come here. So I wanted to bring that to y'all tonight and see what your thoughts around discussing the potential of a moratorium or using some other strategy around bringing that discussion into the open and seeing what y'all think about it. Or if y'all have any thoughts around it already.
Might need to ask our city attorney what options would be available if we would choose to do so.
I haven't looked at that statute in a little while, and I apologize because I did have a little bit of a heads up that this was coming. It's not as simple as just adopting a moratorium. You've got to do some work, some study and a little process before you do it, but we can certainly map out the steps and bring that back to you for consideration is what I would recommend doing. And I did want to mention too that there is a bill that has passed both houses.
Oh, okay.
Passed the House today,
Okay.
dealing with data centers, and I just was looking at it during your budget presentation. Anyway, so I'd like to bring that back to you too, so that you know, unless it got vetoed, but you know, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, so that you know kind of what is on the state's agenda for that as well. So I think you'd want to know that too. It's passed both.
What's the bill number?
It is Senate Bill 730. I don't think it started out as this. I think it's one of those where they carved it out and substituted in, so. But it's called now an act to establish requirements for siting and operation of data centers and to make various changes to state energy and utilities policy.
It's quite a name.
So, Mayor, members of council, the idea would we would bring back options to you at your July meeting. City Attorney Beaker, assuming I don't cut her out of the budget, or myself.
Oh, wow. What did I do to deserve that?
Since she's not paying attention to my budget discussion. So, we will bring it back to your July meeting for conversation and discussion. Is that appropriate for the council?
Okay with that?
And also we'll include our community development department because it would ultimately play into the zoning.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other city council comments? Anything anyone else wants to bring up? No? All right, city manager report.
Mayor Volk, Mayor of City Council, I'll invite Fire Chief Justin Ward to the podium for a special invitation and announcement. While Justin's coming up, I will direct your attention to the Bike Hendo Community Meeting on Thursday, the 25th from 4 to 7 at Trailside Brewing. So tell your friends, ride your bike. If you ride your bike, you get entered into the raffle prize there, so that afternoon. Yeah, drop any time for input. And when Justin finalizes, I will go over the mayor's memory. So Justin, take it away with your special invitation.
All right, so Madam Mayor, City Council, I just want to make sure that everybody has on their calendar tomorrow that it is a very important day for law enforcement. Tomorrow is National Donut Day, and our police officers will be at Dunkin' Donuts on Spartanburg Highway at 7:30 in the morning. This time they will be giving donuts away. That's tough for them, but they are giving free donuts away tomorrow. So that's why we got this meeting out early, Chief, so you can get home, get into bed, and get ready to give those donuts out in the morning.
Will the chief be working the window?
He will be.
Last shift?
From what time?
Okay.
You'll be there first thing?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So our police department, thank you for humoring me, Justin, and allowing me to poke a little fun at the popo. We are
He's a fan of
7:30 to 9:30 tomorrow at Dunkin' Donuts, and it's a great community event, and so and I appreciate the chief and the police department being good sports with it. So
It's always super fun, so if you guys have a chance to go, you should totally go.
yeah, so.
We have.
Oh, okay. So finally, mayor's memory. We're in the month of June 2008, reliving the memories of Mayor Volk and her tenure on the city council. So just so happened that on that meeting, in record time too, they started at 5:45. They got done about 8:15, but they had 7 public hearings, and 3 of the 7 were quasi-judicial. Now, some of you have not had the experience of a quasi-judicial. But the fact they got that done is a miracle. It has to be. Starting off the meeting, the mayor came out with the bang. She was mayor pro tem, and there was something about a sewer line extension agreement she didn't like, so she pulled it off the agenda completely so that staff could report. I thought that is somewhat unusual for Mayor Volk, but she put her foot down that night, so I thought that was great. Some of the key events, and petition annexation for Mountain Inn and Suites out on Upward Road, really starting, kicking off that development. As we know, where Upward Road and McMurray Road has gone from there. Other things, we had a proclamation for a Miss Hendersonville Day. I don't think that pageant still exists, but Miss Hendersonville Day. They approved their capital improvement plan and their budget public hearing for that night. The budget at that point, total appropriations were almost $31 million. So we've grown a little bit over that period of time. I hope that's not a reflection of me, but there you go. Quasi-judicial public hearing, rezoning the commercial development, which at that point was known as South Market. That is the area down next to Executive 2. It is now, the City Council has approved it as an apartment complex, but in 2008, it was approved as, I think it was like 6 buildings that were approved, and there was conversation, as you would imagine, about flooding and location of the buildings and those. So that was approved at that meeting in 2008. Text amendment establishing or amending the Greenville Highway Mixed Use District, which was the forerunner to looking at design standards around our entrance corridors there. So that was done at that meeting, and the minutes have pictures of building offsets and other design standards for that corridor. The text amendment for telecommunication towers and antennas in the ETJ and city limits. And I think that the big action that night of 2008 was also the city received a donation of recreational property from Kimberly Clark. The Berkeley site was given to the city, and also we accepted that in commemoration of their 85th anniversary from the corporation, and we know that property is now becoming the county's recreation park. Other discussion, fire department was talking about quick response vehicles. Decorative lighting on Main Street was a topic that night. Tom made a presentation regarding the cost of that. Dedication of the 6th and 9th Avenue Schools Monument dedication occurred in the month of June. That actually occurred on June 28th, 2008. So, and there was a report on Town Hall Day from Councilmember Carricker about annexation, beginning of discussion regarding annexation issues with local governments. They had, the council members had been and met with Senator Apodaca. So, Mayor's memory, June 2008.
Thank you. Closed session.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, A1 and 6, to prevent the disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential pursuant to the law of this state or of the United States, or not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statutes.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not those in favor of entering closed session, say aye.
Aye.